What's going on? Yeah, your boy been busy, so I haven't made a video in a minute, but let's get into it. In life, you got to realize that there's two sides of your noggin. There's two sides of your brain. You got the left side, you got the right side. Now, once you understand that, you have to really pay attention to how it's operating in your life. How it's either working for you in the moments, you need to work, or it's actually giving you a big disadvantage because you're not using the other side or one or the other. Now, what's so funny about reality is most people won't look into this. Most people kind of will go through life and they'll dominate in a certain way of being or thinking. You'll have a person really dominating the world of feelings, and say you have that person dominating the world of feelings, they'll go into a career path or they'll do something that will make them money through the world of feelings. Now, that doesn't mean this person is going to be a therapist or something like that. They could be a actor, they could be a comedian, because you're still dealing in the world of feelings. You're making other people feel stuff, right? Now, let's say someone in the business, like an architect, they're gonna look at that person and they're gonna be like, well, I don't want to do all that feeling stuff. How is that going to make me money? How is that going to be beneficial for me to get my feelings or the realm of feelings involved in this world of thinking, structure, stuff like that? Now, these two people will collide, right? Because one will look at the other as something, they lack, or let's say something they don't need, because they come from that original world, say of thought or feeling, and have been dominating those realms with that information, with that knowledge, because everything got certain knowledge in it. And that's the beauty about life, which is what you can go into a subject and build a whole library about it, let's say. And just how life works, you're not going to have enough time to go into another subject and dominate. Not saying you can't, but like, imagine trying to dominate every subject out there in the world. You see, we don't have that much time here to do that. So again, people naturally go to what they're naturally good at doing. Like I said, that example of someone being a comedian or someone dominating in the world of feeling. Now, when you have someone dominating the world of thought, they're going to choose a completely different path and a completely different career. And again, they're going to be like, why would I even indulge in the realm of feeling when feeling is not going to pay the bills? When feeling is not going to make me money? Math is going to make me money. Structure is going to make me money. Strategy is going to make me money. Building is going to make me money. And this is where a lot of knowledge, let's say, starts to hinder someone's personal growth. Because you got to remember, it's still your personal growth. You decide what you always want to tap into, what you want to learn. Most people don't even do that to begin with, because they just get pushed and shoved and influenced to be on one side or the other. Meaning what? college told you to do this, you know, your parents told you to do this, your friends told you to do this, and the whole time your personality is not even built for that type of stuff. And that's where self-discovery really starts to kick in. And if you could really figure yourself out and how your mind works and which area of the, you know, of the side it really gets it really dominates at, you start to figure out what you're good at. Do you feel me? And some people do a great job at this. Some people, you know, will naturally pick this up and naturally go into, you know, certain stuff and be like, yo, I'm really good with this, and I already know myself, and this is what I'm gonna go into. But let's say this: what is the disadvantage of someone being so good at what they're naturally good at? If you tend to win in a certain way, you kind of disregard other ways of winning. Let's say you disregard other paths of getting to, you know, to that point, from point A to point B. And you go, nah, I've done it this way so much, and this is what it always gets me. This is what I've always got from always doing it this way. So why would I choose any other way? But if you are clever, if you're a smart person, you don't disregard anything. You don't disregard any way of going. Because you start to see there's many ways to get somewhere. There's many thought patterns to get, you know, to the destination. And everyone does it differently. Someone might fly there. Someone might dig a tunnel. Someone might run. Someone might teleport. You know. And you start to see how people do what they do. But again, going to the mind being split in two, when you start seeing the bigger picture, you start to see a majority of people kind of all do things a certain ways, and then there'll be the small percentage of all these other people that do it differently, you know. And once you figure that out, again, I'm just dropping hints and stuff like that, it should be able to expand your viewpoint on life and go, you know what, I do have a baby perspective on how reality works, and I'm using this baby perspective to do most of my living. But when you really start thinking about it, how big, you know, the mind is, you really don't put as much respect in your own survival. You really don't put so much respect in your own way of doing shit. Because guess what? You start to respect, let's say, the shadow side of yourself. The side that you're not so dominant at. The side that someone else, when you look at them, you'd be like, damn, you know, that person is really logical. Or, you know what? That person always can win people over with emotion. Man, that dude, like, literally plots everything. Like, everything has to be a perfect schedule. Or, you know what? That person just goes in the moment with shit. How, like, I don't even do that. I plot everything. I have to know how everything's going to start. And again, are you able to tap into these different ways of thinking? Once you can realize that your mind has been dominated in only one path, you start to realize how small your own world is and how narrow your perception is. Again, most people don't even blink an eye to this info, but like I said, the mind is split in two. And one side is very logical, and the other side is very feely. And those are big gems to even peep, to even listen to, because then you'll start to do interesting stuff like I have, which is what? You can tap into both. All right, y'all. I'm going to see y'all.